don't sleep on this card. Go grab your copies.
These cards are going to go very soon. Hi, team! Happy Thursday, my birthday bride, guys. It's Brian's birthday today, but also, hi! We're going to be talking about some upcoming text and very important cards that you are going to need for the upcoming meta. No, not the DPE site format, but the next one. You know, the best structure deck ever coming out.
Now, I know that we're all super excited to not be able to touch our extra decks for the next couple weeks, but in hopes that Konami does deal with site and we actually get to play the game in the next format, the Albaz structure deck is coming out in just a few weeks, and this is literally game-changing.
Yeah, you thought the Shaddoll structure deck was something nice? Woo boy, this one is an actual meta-defining structure deck. I know, things are really freezing over here in hell.
Disclaimer, we are not a Market Watch channel. However, we are going to definitely be talking about some cards that you should be looking into and potentially picking up. We will be talking about prices because every time we look at these cards, they are spiking. So if you need these, get them now.
But anyway, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell, make sure you wish Brian a happy birthday in the comments. He's super old today, it's his golden birthday, he's 31. Oh, and make sure you pre-order all your sealed product from big3deals.com with the code CrushCards5 for 5% off your entire purchase. Mega tins that are absolutely bonkers this year, apparently, are up for pre-order now. Make sure you get them while they're still cheap and affordable. Use our code, get 5% off, shipping and tax included. That's it. Anyway, let's tell you about some cards I really important for the upcoming format.
As Logan said before, the Albaz structure deck is going to be introducing a ton of absolutely broken fusion monsters. Fusion will be the brand new meta, which sounds really weird in 2022.
I love 2005.
And one of the cards that we've honestly seen the most spike in price when it comes to tech choices is Ultimate Rare Super Poly. We've probably sold a bunch of them at like $80 a copy.
Mistakes.
And are now kicking ourselves because that's close to $200 a copy. So this video, we're going to actually be talking about and addressing a lot of these Super Poly targets and cards that you should be looking into because every single one of these is going up in price and they are almost staples moving into the next format. So first and foremost is Super Poly. You don't have to play Ultimate Rare copies if you don't want to spend $200 a copy.
Understandable.
They do have common printings. They're super rare out of the OTS packs. There's also Ultra and Secret Rares, which have multiple printings. And for what it's worth, the commons are like $3 to $4 a copy. So if you don't have your Super Polys already, feel free to go and grab them. They are rising in price, and it is not reprinted in the structure deck.
Speaking of Super Poly, the next card I'm going to talk about is a little tricky, just came out of Battle of Chaos, and is not as easy to summon as you think it is, and that is Guardian Chimera. Now, at first glance, Guardian Chimera looks super easy to summon, super busted. It pops cards, draw cards, can't be targeted. It's insane. However, you cannot use your opponent's cards on the field to summon this card. You have to use cards from your hand in your field in order to summon it. So you cannot just generically throw this in an extra deck that you're playing Super Poly in. You're not going to be able to summon it unless you're actually playing a way to summon it.
Reading.
Wow.
Guardian Chimera is a staple card in the extra deck, whether you are playing the Albaz or the Despia strategy. Make sure you guys grab this card ASAP because it used to be like 25 bucks and it's already pushing 40.
Now moving into actual cards that you can Super Poly and that can be generic Super Poly targets. The first one is Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. Been around for a long time now, has many printings at this point, and by many, I mean like, what, 4?
It's got a lot. I think it's like 5 or 6.
Okay, I was like, man, I said many and I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, and the reason we're bringing this up is because the first edition Secret Rares, believe it or not, are over $20 a copy. So if you have these and you have multiple, get rid of some of them, make some money. And if you don't have any, because you're like, oh, I can go pick that card up whenever, get it now because it's expensive. The rare versions, the lowest rarity, I think the rares and the supers are like $3 and $5.
Yeah.
Get this card now.
It's the easiest Super Poly target. It's literally just 2 dark monsters, and well, all of the Despia cards are light or dark. DPE is a dark. Literally everything that is going to be relevant in the upcoming format is light or dark. That's, and they're fusion. So like,
perfect.
You're good.
And speaking of fusion, that actually brings us to our next target, which is Predaplant Dracostapellia. This is 1 dark monster and 1 fusion monster.
Wow, you know what DPE is? A fusion monster. You know what he also is? A dark monster. So wow, you have so many options with this. And since the Despia / Albaz / Aluber / whatever the hell this upcoming deck is, it's all fusion based. So you have the fusion part covered. The dark is just a bonus.
The one benefit that this card does have over Starving Venom is that it actually does have an interruption potential with its effect because it can be a negate as well while getting rid of your opponent's cards.
Yes, believe it or not, some Super Poly targets actually have viable effects. Dracostapellia is a little bit cheaper because it's not like the #1 generic next to Starving Venom. So it is a little bit cheaper. It's around $3 to $5. So if you want to pick up copies, I definitely recommend doing so because I think this one's kind of the sleeper because
this is easily the sleeper.
It's a negate and it's just an easy summon. Like, I think this one's pretty gas and a sleeper card for sure.
And for what it's worth, for all of our people who need proof, if you go to TCG Player right now, there are 2 people on TCG Player Direct who have copies for $25 and $50. Everyone else is around $5. That kind of shows you what people are estimating this card to be. don't sleep on this card. Go grab your copies.
These cards are going to go very soon. Now leading up to the least generic of these ones is Predaplant Trifer Overtum. This one requires 3 dark monsters, so it does require a little bit more of a cost to get it out. However, this one is insane if you read the effects. It negates summons. If your opponent summons from the extra deck, you can just negate the summon. You just say no. Like, that's literally it. Yeah, you're like, oh, what do you have to do? Pay half your life? No. You just say no.
As Logan said, this isn't going to be one of the most overplayed cards, but it is an option. This is more for like the mid-game, late-game, grindy type stuff.
Yeah.
When your opponent has 3 monsters that are dark on the field. However, we just wanted to bring it up because if you don't have this, it has 1 printing, it is a super rare, and it is 25+.
And remember, it doesn't have to be your opponent having 3 dark monsters. You can have something on the field that's dark. You can have a Starving Venom. You can have literally any of the 99% of the cards in the Yu-Gi-Oh database that are dark monsters, and you can Super Poly as well. That's the beauty of Super Poly this format. Did we mention buy Super Poly? I really think you should invest in Super Poly.
And speaking of fusion monsters you should be picking up, speaking of picking up stuff, as we said in the beginning of the video, Big3Deals.com, Dragoon just got announced to be reprinted in the 2022 Megatins. Discount code CrushCards5 saves you 5% off, all that good stuff. Dragoon is still over $100 even with the reprint announcement. I think it's like 130, 135.
Yeah.
If you are like us and you like playing max rarity, the Dragoon Starlight is around $600.
Yeah, that escalated really quickly. Shout out to the Yu-Gi-Oh community for making that happen.
The reason we are talking about this is because Dragoon is actually one of the staple cards, and you do not have to play the bricks in this strategy in order to summon this insane boss monster. This is one of those cards that is incredibly hard for your opponents out, can't be targeted, negate, pops cards, and then obviously not having to play the 2 vanillas in your deck just makes it so much more consistent and so much more of a powerhouse.
Well, it is really neat that we just got a Dragoon reprint announced. The Megatins come out in September, which is like 6 months from now, and the structure deck comes out in like 2 weeks, and then the meta is going to take a total shift for the better or the worse at this point. I don't really know what matters, but if you don't have a copy of Dragoon yet, you should really advise getting it now before it gets even worse, because Dragoon's just going to come right back into the format, and no, he's not getting banned because he just got announced for a reprint. So for that, just don't even be like, oh, well, what if... No, just buy the Dragoon. Just commit now. Just full commit. You can't wait 6 months. I definitely think if you want to get it, you need to get it now.
A lot of this information does come from watching the market and just seeing what the OCG is doing. And speaking of the OCG, when these structure decks first came out and were announced, a lot of people were testing either the Dogmatica engine, the Shadal engine. You can play multiples of these. Just keep in mind that there is literally a lot of targets that you can use for either Super Poly, and keep in mind, if we didn't already mention this, Fallen of Albaz is Super Poly the monster.
Yeah,
you can fusion with your opponent's monsters and itself. So
he
just
is a walking Super Poly.
Card's insane.
Yes.
So things to just keep in mind, like when you're playing the deck, when you're starting to learn the deck as well, you can use some of your opponent's stuff to summon Shadals if you're playing your own Shadals. Titaniclad, you know, the one that searches Ecclesia, it also searches Fallen of Albaz, and this is just Fallen of Albaz in any monster with 2,500 or more attack. So these are things you should be watching out for, cards you should be watching out for, and just once the meta shifts, be prepared for this stuff.
Now, being honest, we don't know how these strategies are actually going to look, what the M words are going to look like when it comes to the TCG, because while we can look at the OCG, the TCG is a whole different animal, and we don't know how people are going to adapt their decks as soon as this comes out, so we're going to have to kind of see what happens. But we do know that, you know, the structure deck has support for Shadals, it has support for Tri-Brigade, it has support for, obviously, the Albaz, Aluber,
like the Dogmatica engine.
Like the whole thing. So, like, this structure deck supports so many engines that, like, you cannot ignore it. This is something that you need to be very aware of. But yeah, these are just cards we think you should be picking up for the upcoming meta. It's coming very soon. It's something that we're really kind of scared about. So hopefully you guys pick up some of these cards. If you don't already have them, please dig through your bulk, look through your utility cards, find them. I think these cards are going to be very, very important for the upcoming format, and make sure you have copies of Super Poly. That's really it. We just wanted to let you guys know what we think is going to be really important in the next few weeks, and that's about it. And we get announcements literally today, I think. So if the announcements happen sick, if not, well, we're here helping you anyway. So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. We love you. You matter. And we will see you tomorrow for the 24-hour stream on Twitch. Links in the description box down below. Make sure you come. I know we're going to be on streaming for 24 hours. It's going to be really great. Anyway, see you then. Bye.
Bye, y'all.